All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Las Vegas Raiders rookie defensive tackle JJ Pegues. Pegues has emerged in the preseason as a valuable piece of this Raiders front seven. He looks like a guy who can add a lot of value to Las Vegas going forward, and we'll break down everything he did well in the Raiders' most recent preseason performance. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have, plus any other players who wants to do a breakdown on. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a pass rush, and there's big number 92, JJ Pegues right there. I'm just going to call him JJ for this film review just to make it easier on myself so I don't keep screwing up his name. But we're going to get started with a really nice pass rush and concept here for the Raiders. So what they're going to do is they're going to have JJ slam down inside just like this to pick the center, have 43, take a step this way, and then wrap it around just like that. It's a really clever design. Normally how it works is this happens much quicker. The defensive tackle slams in, and the linebacker loops around, and these two guys usually are able to do a decent job picking it up. But if you slam down inside and the number 43, the linebacker, starts this way, these two offensive linemen will say, oh, no stunt coming, and then he loops around just like this. But here's the thing, JJ's so explosive and disruptive, he picks the center right there and then gets up to the quarterback, delivers a pressure, and finishes the play. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see 92, JJ going into the center, picking him. Nice job. I love how he gets into the center, and the next thing he does, foot in the ground, gets north and south, goes through the guy blocking him, and helps make the sack. This is great team defense across the board. I love the selflessness. Again, doing your job right there, doing it at a high level, dislocating the center, allowing 43 to wrap to finish the play. Really clever design. Again, you can see 43 take a couple steps to the right, and then put his foot in the ground and loop around. Really nice work. You got the blitzing defensive back here, number 30, leaving his feet. That's never ideal, but they finish here. 43-92, they make the play with some help from their friends. Really good defense. Again, from an interior defensive lineman, what are you looking for? Disruptive, collapse the pocket. That's exactly what 92 brings here. JJ does a great job, again, picking the center, finishing the play, working through the offensive lineman, helping sack the quarterback. Nice rep. All right, from the wide copy, you can see JJ right there. Go into the center right there with authority. Get him completely dislocated and push the pocket. Look at this quarterback right here. You can see when he steps up, what happens? He runs right into his offensive lineman, runs right into the center. That's what you want from a defensive tackle. Right. I'm sorry, right into the guard, I guess, not the center. But that's exactly what you want. You want the center guard area for the quarterback to collapse in his lap, and then you've got your speed guys, your edge rushers, your linebackers here in this case, to finish the play, to clean it up. That's how you know you've got a great disruptive force inside. A lot of people looked at JJ and said, well, what can he do? He ran the football in college, right? Was a big, strong guy. Maybe he can stop the run. I think he's a whole lot more than that, folks. He is a disruptive force, can provide a lot of value for the Raiders in minimal snaps. That's the most important thing. He doesn't have to play a lot to have a massive impact. All right, how about a little run defense from 92 JJ right there? This is going to be an outside zone concept for the 49ers. So we're going to get zone block here, zone block here, zone block here, trying to get backside cutoffs here. Running back's going to take this track and then try and get north and south wherever he can. We're talking short yardage situation here. So here's where your big guys need to win. And right here, 92, he does a great job. When the center tries to base reach him in the zone block, he gets a lot of penetration, sets the line of scrimmage 3 yards back, and then comes off and makes a tackle on the running back. Great job. Again, disruptor inside here. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the zone tracks across the board to the offense. The 49ers offensive line working to the left side of your screen. Let's look at 92. Big JJ Pegues right here. Look at that penetration. Look at that resetting the line of scrimmage. Look at the center right here. Gets shocked. He gets going backwards. You can see the new line of scrimmage, and then he comes off and makes a play. This is absolutely perfect, right? When you're trying to get stops on short yardage, especially in this Kyle Shanahan zone offense, right? That's become basically ubiquitous throughout the National Football League in its entirety. You got to get penetration. You got to get these offensive linemen working backwards and just blow up this scheme here, blow up the entire plan, and that's exactly what they do. Here it forces the running back to cut back early. When you have this much penetration in your lap, you can't stretch it outside. You got to get north and south, and here he's also able to come off and make the play too. Meanwhile, his linebacker, number 55, is there to clean up just as well. This is so good here. I can't get over. Now, look, to be fair, this is a tough block, right? This center to reach over this far and try and make the play, that ain't easy. But tell you what, it's a whole lot harder when you got a player like JJ right there, getting so much penetration, explosive power. He uses his hands so well. That must come from Ole Miss, how he was coached. Uses his hands, strike in the chest, extend, and then come off and make the tackle. Great play. All right, from the wide copy, really good look at it right here. Watch how he gets in the center, head-to-head contact, and then extend. You see that bench press right there? That's why they do those bench press, guys. That's why you lift all those weights. Get in, extend, play off, make the tackle. perfect technique, perfect explosiveness, perfect power, everything you want. Look at this surge. Look where this line of scrimmage started, guys. What, the 38-yard line, I guess that is? Look where it ends up for the center, right back near the 35, 35 and a half. We're talking 2 to 3 yards of penetration of defense. Look at this. This play's designed. It's an outside zone. It's designed to go wide and then to cut up north and south. But because of the penetration, the running back has to cut it up super early, right into the help, and JJ makes a tackle just as well. Incredible job here by Big 92. All right, we know JJ's a really good physical, strong player, but how about being quick? And you can see him right there. He's lined up at what we're going to call a 2-eye technique on the inside eye of the guard right there. If he was on the outside shoulder of the guard, we'd call that a 3 technique. If he was on the outside shoulder of the center, we'd call that a 1 technique. Just for a quick 1 technique, excuse me, just a quick refresher for anyone who's not familiar with that terminology. Right here, we're going to get a pass protection, pass rush for the Raiders. So the 49ers offensive line, they're all going to take the gap to their left on the play side. So the center's going to take this gap, left guard's going to take this gap, left tackle's going to take that gap. So that means on the backside, the right guard and right tackle, one-on-one right there. Right guard, one-on-one, right tackle, one-on-one. And when you're one-on-one in this situation, good defensive tackles, they find a way to win. You really have a 3-way go in this circumstance. You can go inside, you can go through, you can go outside, right? Those are your 3 paths, and because you're one-on-one, you should really take advantage of this opportunity. Now, a person with JJ's size, you would think if you're this guard, okay, he's going to be big and strong. He's going to use his great bench press that we just saw to like bowl through me and try and push the pocket right into the quarterback's lap. Not so. Here he actually showcases his quickness and his athleticism. The big man's got a lot of really good footwork, guys. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the center, left guard, left tackle, all taking the gap to the left. You can see right here, guard hammering down inside. He's looking for the bull rush, but look at 92. Quick move around, beats him with speed, beats him clean, right? Guard ends up on the ground, right? Not a great place to be. Now, look, it's a quick throw, so he doesn't get a hit on the quarterback or pressure or anything. But man, for a guy this big, this stout, to have this quickness, this athleticism, that's a really good sign, guys. And that's one of the things that really sticks out to me when I look at JJ Pegues. He's a guy that, while he may not be the greatest athlete in terms of all his attributes, right? He wasn't a first-round pick, of course, or anything close to that. He is really underrated in terms of his footwork. He gets his feet in the ground so quick, almost like a really good offensive lineman. He gets him in really quick, right? You can watch his feet there. He's like, pop, 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 and gets around. Covers a lot of ground with a lot of steps very, very quickly. I wouldn't want him in a 40-yard dash if he had to hawk someone down, but I tell you what, in pass rush and these short bursts, he can be quite the weapon for the Raiders. All right, from the wide copy, you get a really good look at it right here. Watch him. He's going to threaten inside with 1 step and then get his feet in the ground and get around and beat him clean. I mean, that's just a clean beat, right? One-on-one pass pro. Like I said a second ago, if you get these opportunities in defensive tackle, you should win them if you're a quality player. Guess what, guys? JJ, 92, he's a quality player. He wins and wins it cleanly. Pressure right in the quarterback's face, gets his hands up. Again, it's a quick throw, so he doesn't have a chance to get a sack or even hit on the quarterback. But you talk about just winning and taking advantage of an opportunity, showing off your athletic skill set. That's exactly what we're seeing here from this talented rookie. All right, let's talk about his smarts, his intelligence. And there he is right there, line up in a 1 technique on the outside shoulder of the center right there. So it's going to be a play action. The 49ers are going to try and sell zone scheme this direction, fake to the running back, and the quarterback's going to settle in the pocket and try and hit a crosser right here behind the linebackers. A lot of people on the Raiders are fooled, but not number 92. He feels his play action early. I don't know how. I don't know if it's a sixth sense. He's able to just basically catapult one of the offensive line by him and go right to the quarterback, get pressure in his face. Really smart, savvy play here. Great job recognizing and reacting. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the zone tracks across the board. Watch the Raiders linebackers and defensive line. They're all going downhill. And now right now, like, oh, crap, it's a pass. Throws a pine to everyone for a big play, right? This is what the 49ers, this is what every team tries to do. They confuse the defense, right? Play action, get everyone think it's a pass, or everyone think it's a run, throw the pass behind. But look at number 92 inside. He's the only guy, right? He starts running, and right here he's like, oh my goodness, it's a pass. I don't know how he knows. Ball's still in the quarterback's hands. It looks like handoff, but he plays through it, and he's pressure right in the quarterback's face. Did he guess right? Does he have a sixth sense? Can he read Mac Jones's mind? I couldn't tell you, but I just love the playmaking ability. And sometimes that's what you need on a defense, especially for a guy who doesn't have a lot of reps. It's sort of like a guy who can score off the bench in basketball, a creative shooter, right? A guy who can just find a way to get the ball in the basket. That's kind of what JJ is here. He's just the guy that finds a way to make plays from the defensive tackle position. You're not exactly sure how he does it. May not be the prettiest thing at times. Maybe a little bit out of structure for the defense, but guess what? He gets it done, right? Sees for whatever reason that's going to be a pass, completely arm bars the tackle by, splits the guard, right? Arm bars the guard by, splits the tackle right there. Pressure right in the quarterback's face. Really nice play. Give credit to Mac Jones to hang in there and deliver a really good football. These are the little plays, right? I mean, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, of course, because it's not a sack or anything like that. But I guarantee you, if you're an offense, you're going to be worried because if you're going up against a guy like JJ Pegues, Is he going to be the guy to diagnose a clever play action or a clever run, a clever trick play, and throw you for a 10-yard loss? That's the kind of impact you could have for the Raiders going forward. All right, from the wide copy, you can see him right here at defensive tackle. So right here, he feels it's a pass, gets through and gets his hands up and makes a play. Again, you can see how he takes his right arm and slingshots the guard by and then gets past the tackle with ease. You never see this, guys. I can't begin to describe how often when teams, offensive lines, when they run this play action off the zone, how it's not a rest play, but it's pretty darn close because all the defensive linemen, they're so scared of getting zone blocked and reach that they fly down the line of scrimmage, no penetration near the quarterback. But JJ has a different mindset, right? He gets through, does a good job getting his hand up, nice play. Doesn't prevent the completion, but I tell you what, going forward, this kind of mindset, this kind of ability to recognize and react will give a lot of value to this Raiders defense. All right, how about some traditional nose tackle play? And there's JJ right there, lined up in a one technique, a really tight one technique here for the Raiders defense. So this is just going to be a standard run, sort of zone scheme to the offensive left. We're going to get zone double team here, working up to the next level. Fullback / tight end working up to that edge defender, that outside linebacker. And we're going to look for a base reach here for the offense. They want to get hat on a hat here and try and reach and pin him inside. Or if they don't get that, they want to get movement. How this play normally works is that these two guys get a decent amount of movement, get up to the next level. The fullback gets out here, but he gets an edge set on him by this edge defender. So basically, you get a seal here. And the way this play can be stopped is if this nose guard, this defensive tackle of JJ, can construct the hole just like this, get down here, beat the centers across the face, and make the play. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the zone double team right there. They dislocate the defense, get good movement. You can see the hole, guys. Look at this. Exactly like I thought. There's that big hole. That's what you're looking for if you're the 49ers. But let's look at big number 92. Fights through the block, makes the tackle, limits the damage. Nice work. This is what you want. Now, is it a tackle for loss like we saw earlier in this cut up? No, but this is good, solid nose tackle play, right? He engages the offensive lineman, bench presses him off from right there. Right there, he's reached. He's in a little bit of trouble, right? So it's not perfect, but he fights through it, guys. He keeps working, and makes the play. Again, JJ, number 92, he is a playmaker, guys. He's not just a space eater. We showed it this entire sequence, right? He's not one of these 320-pound defensive tackles where it's all about, taking up a block or two. He's a guy that's trying to make the play, right? He scored touchdowns running the football for Ole Miss over the past couple seasons. He likes making plays. He's a guy that causes them to happen. We showed it earlier in the sequence, and you see it right here, doing a great job fighting through the block. He's reached right there. He's in trouble, but keeps working, makes the tackle. Nice play. Now from the wide copy, you can see him right there. Watch him, again, head-to-head, and then extend. You see that new line of scrimmage? I could watch this all day. Watch this. Contact, extend, new line of scrimmage. Look at everybody else for the 49ers offensive line is a step ahead or more, except JJ, right? Look at the Raiders defensive line. Look at Hemingway there. Now he's getting double teams, so that's not exactly fair, but he's getting blown off the ball. Look at the backside there, right? They're giving up a little ground. He's doing a decent job, but he's giving up a little ground. Who's not getting moved? Big 92. He is setting a new line of scrimmage. He's getting penetration, and even though he gets reached a little right there, he still fights over the top and helps make the tackle. Really all-star caliber play right here for the young defensive tackle. He's going to find himself getting a lot more reps. All right, now let's show something that JJ needs to work on. And there he is right there, line up at a one technique once again, but this time on the right side of the center on his outside shoulder. So it's going to be a toss play right here. We're going to have the wide receivers bring a receiver in motion, then pick up the edge defender. We're going to get a zone double team here. We're going to get up to the linebacker. Fullback's going to lead out in space. Right here, JJ, you're not going to make the tackle most likely on an outside toss, right? It just ain't going to happen being a nose guard, but you still got to do your job because there's a chance you could always cut it up behind or something like that. You got to make sure you don't get reached, maintain good pursuit. Number 92 doesn't do that here. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap, there's a toss. You can see the zone double team, right guard, right tackle. You can see the wide receiver inserting. You got the tight end trying to get up on the next level. Doesn't work. Good job on the perimeter by the edge defender and the defensive back filling. Good defense there. But let's look at number 92, right? You cannot backdoor it, right, on an outside run. This is something you can't do. This is you getting reached. That can happen, right? Because if there's a cutback, let's say they'd done a better job here, this running back could cut up right here for a big play. You cannot get reached. You got to treat it like we saw in the previous play with the zone block, right? Get penetration and the run horizontal and pursue with levels to the defense like we're seeing across the Raiders here. Number 92, you can't backdoor it. This is the one downside of being a playmaker. You see opportunities like this and like, oh, I can backdoor it and make the tackle. You're a defensive tackle. You're a heck of an athlete, dude, and you got a bright future. No defensive tackle, and certainly not you, unfortunately, is going to hawk the running back in the backfield if you backdoor it like that. The offense is begging you to do that. You can't. pursue by maintaining your gap. This is something I guarantee you he was chewed on when it came to the film room. I think he'll clean this up. Again, just a young player just trying to make a play. It happens to everyone. You know, it's nothing catastrophic, of course. All's well that ends well with the Raiders defensively on the perimeter. But this is something in big moments and other opportunities this season you can't do, because this could potentially hurt your defense. From the wide copy, you're going to see right here a good example of it. So right here, he backdoors it. You got to stay flat. You can see how the rest of the defensive line and linebackers they're pursuing. That's exactly what you want, because let's say right here this running back decides to cut it up here, and JJ was pursuing. He'd be there to make the tackle along with 54 Smith there to help clean it up. Instead, because he backdoors it, if the running back cut back here, 92 ain't making that play, guys. Like, he's just too far away. But if he was right here about 3 yards up the field, he'd be there to make the tackle. This is something I think he'll improve on. Again, just a playmaker trying to make a play, happens to everyone. I think going forward, he'll play this a little more fundamentally sound. All right, let's end on a pass rush and one of my favorite plays from JJ Pegues. There he is, of course, on the left side of your screen. Right here, you can count the Raiders, 1, 2, 3 that are on the left side of the offense, and it's going to be a really clever stunt here. It's not an uncommon strategy, but it's a really good one. They're going to take this defensive tackle and have him rush this direction just like this. The goal is to pull the center away so you have an isolation with these two guys on these two guys. Then they run a stunt with these guys. They're going to have 92, JJ. He's going to fire vertically into the offensive tackle and shock him to pick him and have this defensive lineman loop around. And remember, they've got this defensive tackle going this way. The goal is to pull the center here, and while JJ Pegues goes up the field at this tackle, the guard will follow him briefly, so you'll see this hole open up for number, I think, 91 right there it is, to hit the hole just like that. But JJ, again, big, strong dude. He gets up the field, blows up this tackle, and is able to work through and get pressure on the quarterback. Great rep. It highlights his disruptive nature. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see 68 work to the right. Again, pulling the center that way. But the center, again, smart player. He knows what's coming. Good job by him. You can see 92 working up the field. Picks off the tackle. Nice work. But 91's picked up right there. That's not great. But here's what I love about JJ. Strikes, and then you have to do the next thing. What they always teach you to do in these stunts is you run the pick, you strike your target, and then get up the field. And that's exactly what he does. Gets pressure on the quarterback. Again, 59, I believe that is right here, did a really good job getting through. My goodness gracious, look at the left guard here. I mean, he kind of gets tripped up on the left tackle, so I guess it's one of the reasons why it looks ugly. But man, 59 gets through, pressure on the quarterback right there. But even if 59 wasn't there, guys, JJ would have been, because he blows up this tackle, does a smart job, puts his foot in the ground. Great athlete. Look how much grass he covers and how quickly he covers it, right? For a big, strong, physical defensive tackle, people, I think, overlook how athletic he is, how fast he is. He gets his feet in the ground, just pop, 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 then strikes with a lot of power, then pop, 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 and gets to the quarterback. He's a heck of an athlete. He's a heck of a playmaker. Great disruptive force up front for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, from the wide copy, you can see JJ right there. He's going to, at the snap, fire into the right tackle, number 76. Shock him. Look at that shock back. Oh, man. Just gets knocked. Like, boo, bang. It's like getting punched in the face in a boxing match. Boom, you just stagger back, and then he gets past him, pressure near the quarterback. This is so good, guys. This is going to be so tough to stop. Because if you're a tackle here, imagine that's Kuntz or Crosby, right? You got to respect that. And then you get ear-holed by a 6-foot, 320-pound freight train running at you. Oh, my goodness. I can see the Raiders creating all kind of mismatches, all kind of pass rush opportunities with this kind of play all regular season long. And it's all because of a guy, JJ Pegues, that is getting better and better. He is a physical force. He's a disruptor. Great find by the Raiders. He has a bright future for this franchise.